Hey guys, Jeff Hartman, the Neptune man, and I hope you guys are safe out there with all that is going on right now. It's kind of crazy, isn't it? So this is probably a good time to keep your Maytag Neptune front loader working by replacing the bearings. So if you're not aware, I do have a Neptune bearing toolkit that I rent out, and what I'm going to do for June is I will include a Neptune belt, be complimentary. So if you decide you need the belt, you can just put it on. You might want to keep the old one to spare, or vice versa. You can just keep using the older one. I will tell you, the new belts are hard to get on. They're really tight. I've had Neptuners send them back because they said it's not the right belt, but they are the right belts, and I do have a video with a trick that you can do to put that thing on there easier, okay? So let's go look at the website. How do you order this, Jeff? Well, you go to neptunebearing.com and you click on, now I have a thing right here. It's like as of 5/25, I will update this. The tool rental is running about 3 days. It just depends on how quickly I get the tools back, okay? But you can check that. And also, after you order, you'll be given a link to a special page you go to, and I'll actually show who's in the tool rental. I'll use the last 4 characters of your last name. Actually, the first 4 characters of your last name. So if your name is Smith, it'll be S-M-I-T. And then you'll be in a list, and then whoever's at the top is going out next. And I also tell you how many people go out each day. So if 0 people go out, I try to update that. I try to update that in the evening. So what you want to do is go to click on tool order. I'm actually going to do this. So this is the Neptune bearing tool rental, okay? So you click here to read the tool rental agreement. This is actually one long link right here. So you click on that. Okay, the tool rental right now is $349, and then once you return it, you get a $189 refund, okay? So we're going to add this to cart. Now, if this doesn't work on your computer, it's rare, but I've had people in the past where they said it wouldn't work, and then all I can really recommend is to try a different computer or a different browser. It could be something with the security settings on that browser. So you could try, you know, Edge, I think Microsoft Edge. You can try the older Explorer. You can try Chrome. You got Firefox. So right here, $349. Okay, now this is to United States addresses only, because I ship this out flat rate priority mail. It comes in a box. Now another thing you may want to consider is the spacer. This spacer goes between both bearings, okay? Because that aluminum housing is soft aluminum. You know, like the other machines, like the Whirlpool Duets, the Kimberly's, they have a steel hub. But you know, the Neptune is one of the first front load residential washers to come out. And how they did it was they used an aluminum hub. So I believe that the spacer is to keep the bearings separated. Because I had one client where he didn't put spacer back in. Eventually what happened was his bearings kind of chewed through the aluminum. They got closer together, and then his shaft started wobbling because he didn't have the, you don't have that leverage at two places on the shaft to keep it really straight. And if those bearings work together, your shaft will start wobbling. So you got to have these spacers in there. But the original spacer is thinner. It's about 20 gauge steel. Here's the new spacer. You can see how much thicker that is. Okay, it's the same length, about 1 3/4 long. But you also notice this new spacer has a bevel. That beveled edge goes toward the back bearing. That's the smaller bearing. And the reason I do that is because this spacer is a lot thicker than the old one, so it actually extends past that inner race of the back bearing. So they're worried about this edge cutting into that seal on the back bearing, because the bearings have seals, or if you have shields, either one, you don't want this thing rubbing that, because that's going to put shavings and debris inside that hub. So they put that little bevel on there so it doesn't do that. So when you put this back together, if you end up using a thicker spacer, you'll want to put the bevel toward the back, okay? And if you want to add that to your cart, you just continue shopping. Right here it says continue shopping. Now, just look for the continue shopping. Because, PayPal will change this stuff up every once in a while, so it may not be up here. It could be over here. Just look for a continue shopping button or a link. Now, when you click this, it's going to take you back to the website. And then we'll have to click on to order. And then you go down here to Neptune bearing spacer, add to cart. Now, if you end up not needing the spacer because your spacer looks pretty good, you can send it back with the toolkit, and that way you'll get a credit. It'll be a refund against your deposit. So you can add that to your cart. Another thing you may want to consider is a wax motor. So go back to order. And wax motor right here. If you have an older Neptune that's got a timer knob, those have wax motors. And if you haven't changed it yet, and you bought the machine was brand new, you probably have the older style wax motor, which is this one right here, but it'll have a brownish color tip. It'll kind of match this body right here. This is a new design. The new design has a black tip. The older ones, they actually, over time, they can draw more current than they're supposed to, and that damages the machine control board, okay? It's good to prevent that if you can. You want to proactively replace this. So if you have a Neptune, it's a 3000, a MAH 4000, an MAH 5500A series, because when they went to the B, they added the digital, and then they actually have a solenoid that locks the door. You hear a click when it locks. The wax motor you can't hear, it's quiet. It takes about 45 seconds for that thing to heat up. It's got wax in it. Once that wax heats up, it causes it to expand, and it pushes that little plunger out about 1/4 of an inch. So it's just an actuator to lock the door. Okay, you can add that to your cart as well. Then if you find out you've got the black tipped wax motor, the new one, you can actually ship that back as well, just like the spacer. Okay, it's just it might be good to have that, because then you don't have to wait for me to ship you another one if you order it here later, because you determine that you got to have the newer design. So there's that. Then you just hit PayPal. You can use credit cards, and then whichever credit card you use will get refunded. Okay, it'll go back toward that card. I get that question a lot, so I'll answer that question right now. So the important key here is to continue shopping, so you can go back and order the other things if you like. I'm going to remove some things here. Okay, so now it's got the toolkit rental. Okay, now the toolkit rental does include the bearings, and it also includes the seals, so you don't have to order those separate. I do get customers, and they will order the tool rental plus they'll order another bearing and seal kit, so it adds $79. And you don't have to do that unless you're like, maybe you're doing 2 machines. You're going to replace bearings on 2 machines. That's a possibility. Okay, so for June 2020, the special is a complimentary Neptune belt. Okay, if you have any other questions, please give me a shout. My email is on the contact form on the website, and yeah, I'd like to hear from you guys. Okay, if you have any questions, give me a shout. Okay, thanks, and I appreciate you guys. Bye bye, and stay safe.